While everyone is jumping in and out right now, chasing the perfect entries and calling for bear market in 2026, the macro setup, the intermarket signals and altcoin structures are quietly aligning for what could be the next major phase of this cycle. And for this reason, I want to share with you a couple of charts today and outline where I think we are heading and where the historical patterns are hinting at. So the first chart we are going to start with is Bitcoin versus gold versus silver. As we know, gold and silver and precious metals overall had a very good run in 2025. Massive gains, runs that we've not seen before. And on this chart, we are comparing Bitcoin to gold and silver. Historically, the macro transition happens in the following order. First, gold moves. That's the first move. Then silver follows, and then Bitcoin comes last, but it moves the fastest. And right now, gold and silver, they have already made very aggressive upside moves. As I said, we saw runs that we've not seen before. Silver has gone vertical, has gone parabolic. Gold is extended. Meanwhile, if we look at Bitcoin has been digesting, consolidating, and frustrating a lot of crypto investors and traders. But this isn't weakness, this is rotation. Capital flows don't just disappear, they move, they rotate. So when hard assets like gold, silver become crowded with trades, they become crowded with retail investors, risk capital looks for asymmetric upside, and that's Bitcoin. This is why the macro environment, the macro structure is very simple. When we have runs like this for gold and silver, we sell those and we buy Bitcoin. We look for assets that are undervalued, that are mispriced. And Bitcoin is sitting at this zone right now. I'll share some more charts shortly. I'm still holding my silver because I think precious metals will still be very valuable, and I see silver going to at least $100. That's my target for silver, where I would take my profits and probably move to something else. But definitely, I don't say sell your gold and silver right now, but I can tell you buy Bitcoin right now. Not a financial advice, but I think it is sitting at a very good discount and very good buy zone. I'll show you a chart shortly which will increase your conviction in what I'm saying. And you should buy Bitcoin not because it will move tomorrow, but because when it moves, it doesn't ask for permissions. The move happens very quickly and much higher in terms of percentage compared to gold and silver. And trying to time Bitcoin will almost always leave you with less Bitcoin. And if you look at this other chart here, over the last 16 years, the best performing wallets, the highest conviction investors, the biggest winners, they all did one thing, and they did the same thing. They buy, they hold, and they keep stacking. Every cycle, people who try to outsmart Bitcoin thinking, I will buy lower, I wait for confirmation, I'll rotate back in later. Every cycle, Bitcoin runs while these people are sidelined. And you don't want to be one of those people who just remain in the sidelines. Volatility is the cost of admission. So if you can't hold through boredom, corrections, and choppiness, you won't be there for the expansion either. So when it comes to Bitcoin, just always zoom out. And I keep saying, if you think Bitcoin is expensive right now, one of my strategies, what I teach my Discord members and on my course, is the dollar cost averaging strategy when it comes to Bitcoin in particular. You invest a little bit and you also have money on the side. One golden rule when you invest is never go all in. Always make sure you have money on the side because the market will keep surprising you. It will keep giving surprises to you, so you need to be prepared at any time. If the market goes down, you have money on the side to buy the dip. If it goes up, you're already in the game. This approach gives you two main advantages. You have money to buy the dips. If the price goes down, you take the most of this opportunity, and if the market goes up, you're already in the game. You're part of it and you'll be taking profits. So these are your two main advantages with this staggered approach. So never go all in is a golden rule. When it comes to Bitcoin's long-term structure, we'll look at this weekly Bitcoin regression channel. This chart tells you one thing very clearly. Bitcoin is still trending within its long-term growth curve. We are not euphoric, not in blow-off territory, not at cycle extremes. We are at the bottom, at the accumulation phase. And historically, what we see here as green band, green zone, this is your accumulation zone. Blue is the expansion zone. And red is the so-called euphoria or cycle tops, where we should be taking profits. And right now, as you can see, we're transitioning from expansion into acceleration, where the best opportunities lie, where the best opportunities are hidden. So all I can say is buy at these good prices, because generally and historically in these zones that we are right now, this is where momentum and energy builds up, where Bitcoin shakes out weak hands, and where the trends for higher are forming up, and they will go higher than people even expect. So just remember that Bitcoin doesn't move linearly. It compresses, then it releases very violently, and this chart clearly explains this and illustrates Bitcoin's move for the past 16 years since it exists. That's for the long-term structure. When it comes to short-term, we have very important week coming ahead, interesting week loaded with macro events. On Tuesday we have the US CPI and the US core CPI data. On Wednesday we have the US PPI and the core PPI data. On Thursday we have the manufacturing PPI data. So this means volatility is guaranteed, and for those who are on Discord, I'll drop the weekly setup for those who want to trade, what we are looking at, the key levels, and the potential scenarios where Bitcoin can go, so you are ready to take any trades at any time where we see the opportunity coming, the key levels being reached. And as I said, yes, volatility is guaranteed because this inflation data impacts interest rate expectations, dollar strength, liquidity conditions, and so on. So in short term, this week in particular, expect noise, fake moves, stop hunts, and so on. But the key is that volatility does not change the long-term trend. It remains. It just transfers coins. Weak hands panic, strong hands accumulate. That's why I always say, when you are in doubt, zoom out. That's the only thing you need to do. If you have some doubts, zoom out and you would see the bigger picture clearly. We talked about the Bitcoin, now we'll talk about the altcoins, because I know a lot of you are holding altcoins and you're waiting for the opportunity to start taking profits. That's why you probably are more interested in the altcoins and what they can, how they can perform in 2026. And one altcoin which I made a video on a week ago, if you're regularly watching my videos, that was the book protocol. And if you bought at that time, you would be up quite a lot right now, because the book went up 40% alone in the past week. We bought on Discord this project early, and if you want to join Discord, I'll drop a link to it in the comments and the description below, and I'll be very happy to welcome you as part of the community. But the book is one of my small market cap gems that I'm holding for potential upside gains. It's closely linked to C, and it's in the decentralized finance narrative, which is one of the most bullish narratives. Very good project, and it is worth holding it. Already nearly 50% up for a week alone. It has more potential, especially as SUI performs well and it continues to gain more institutional interest and adoption. The book is the core of the SUI's ecosystem, so it will continue performing well as well. That's just one of my small market cap gems that I want to share with you. The book alone is showing us that altcoins are gaining momentum. If you look at on CoinMarketCap, you would see that for the past week, or even on Crypto Bubbles, if you look on the weekly performance, we can see increases between 20 to 40% in the altcoins on the weekly time frame, which is signaling that there is a lot of accumulation for altcoins right now. Of course, not all altcoins would see an altcoin season, I can tell you this, because some are scams, others have zero utility, and they just die, they go to zero. But if you're focused, and that's why I recommend focusing on the first 100 projects, let's say by market cap, if you look at CoinGecko or CoinMarketCap, and you focus on those, you would be safe. Projects like XRP, Solana, SUI, SEI, Caspa. You have so many Ethereum, if you wish, Polygon, Cardano. Those projects, they might go down, but eventually they will recover. But if you're holding some meme coin, $2 million market cap, this will probably never recover. Yes, I know that a lot of you have made mistakes buying such projects and you don't want to lose, but unfortunately this is what is likely to happen with those projects. They are here for short term, for a season, for a week, for 2 weeks, for a period of time where this narrative is trending. Then those die and they almost never recover. So when it comes to small market cap projects, if you're interested in some meme coin or in a small market cap project below, let's say $200-300 million market cap, focus on trading those. Go with the narrative, go with the hype, sell, take your profits, don't marry your altcoins. But if you're holding these solid projects that I just mentioned earlier, in the top 100 by market cap, you would be safe because those would recover. They're established, they've been here for long time. They have also institutional interest, so they're not going away so easily. I want to share with you this chart, which is all the altcoins versus Bitcoin. This is where things are getting interesting. We are sitting within a massive falling wedge on the monthly time frame and right at a major demand zone. This is not a random level. Historically, when we have such kind of patterns, falling wedge resolve upward, and it's hinting at upwards momentum. Demand zones on higher time frames, they matter a lot because everyone, especially traders, are looking at those demand and supply zones. And altcoins alone, underperforming Bitcoin for long periods, the whole 2025, even 2024, and before that, this often leads to violent reversals and going into the oversold territories. So that's why I think 2026 is looking very bright for the altcoins. Momentum has been compressed for a very long time now. Sentiment is washed. We've been sitting at fear and extreme fear for the past 3 to 4 months, and attention is completely gone, even for Bitcoin, let alone for the altcoins. But this is where and how altcoin seasons are born. Of course, I'm not calling for an overnight explosion here. We are looking for a breakout in the coming months, followed by a rotation and followed by selective altcoins performance. So that's why I want to tell you, focus on the solid projects that with utility that institutions are also accumulating and interested in, and patience here will be rewarded. So that's all I wanted to share today. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.